All right, what do we have here? Old age, sorry. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got the Wallke H7. This is a dual motor e-bike, which comes with a massive 60 amp hour, 48 volt battery. If you need range, this might be the bike to get. This thing has a lot of premium features that really surprised me. Let's take a look at some of those features. We're gonna go over the specs and components, and then later we're gonna take it on the road for a test drive. All right, guys, let's take a look at the specs and components of the Wallke H7 dual motor. We're gonna start off at the top. Looks like we have our standard rubberized grips, DY Island hydraulic disc brake levers, simple control panel. Turning on the display, we get our nice looking Wallke logo. Nice looking display, we're gonna go over this later. The usual 7-speed Shimano shifter and a half twist throttle. And a little horn button right here. Moving on down, we've got some fantastic looking cable management. The front headlight does turn on with a push of a button. It looks like this is a pretty bright headlight. The rear light has a Wallke logo and it does light up when you hold the brakes down. The front fork has a basic lockout and preload adjustment. We have plastic fenders on the front and the rear. Plastic fenders are nice and quiet. This bike has some cool looking 6-spoke mag wheels. And these spokes do have this like slant to them, which makes them look pretty cool. It almost looks like they're moving when they're not. And check out these brake rotors. 203 millimeter brake rotors in the front and the rear. And by the way, quad piston hydraulic disc brake calipers. This thing will stop you on a dime. These brakes are monstrous. And that's a good thing because you need these brakes. This bike is a very, very heavy bike. It came in for me at about 122 pounds. Just the battery alone weighs about 30 pounds. So this is a beast of an e-bike. Same story in the back. You get 203 millimeter rotors with another quad piston hydraulic disc brake caliper. So even though most of your braking is done by the front brake, you still have a lot of stopping power in the back. And that's probably a good thing because again, this bike is very heavy. There's a lot of weight in the back. You're obviously sitting in the back, and if you look here, we have a seat for a passenger. Although there are no foot pegs, so I don't know where the passenger is going to put their legs. Maybe you'll just have to wrap your legs around the rider of the bike. I don't know. Tires are CST BFT 20x4 inch knobbies, and I already did my review ride and a bunch of other riding on and off road, and so the tires did see some action. As you could tell, they are a little bit dirty. By the way, look at how the front wheel is secured. I've seen other dual motor e-bikes with this mechanism, and I think it is phenomenal. First off, you get this plate welded onto the fork, and then it looks like there's this torque bracket down there. So this wheel is not going anywhere. Honestly, I wish all dual motor bikes had a secure mounting point like this. I think it is fantastic. It's a good safety feature because you do not want this wheel flying out. Nice job, Wallke. The logos on this bike look cool. They're like this color changing, pink, reddish, silverish looking logo. Same thing on the frame. The Wallke logo is reflective and it does look very nice in the sun. It's got this reddish, silverish looking reflection to it. Very nice. This bike does come in black and white. Obviously I have the white color, but this isn't just a regular white color. It is a pearl white color. I don't know if you guys can tell on the camera. I'm gonna work my video editing magic, but I'm gonna try and recreate what I see in real life. This is like a pearl white looking color. The controller sits in here. I did open this up and I did try and dig out the controller, but it was really pushed in there and I didn't want to mess with it. But I'll put up on the screen how many amps this controller puts out. Up top, we've got one of the nicest seats ever. I've had other Wallke bikes with the seat, and this is my favorite stock factory seat I've ever been on ever. It's got this gel feeling covering on top. It is nice and wide, and it does have little springs on the bottom. If you notice, there's a slight bend to these mounting rods, and that's because this mount was all the way up from the box, and so this whole area bent down. So make sure when you get this bike, this bracket is in the middle of these rods, otherwise you risk bending everything down. I've never had that happen before, ever, on any other bike. I don't exactly know why that happened, but put this in the middle so that way the weight is evenly distributed. Check out this battery, guys. This is the 60 amp hour 48 volt battery that comes in this bike. And to use this bike, you do have to keep this key in. It is a good security feature. Charge port for the battery. The battery does hook up to the bike using this cord right here. So once you put the battery in, just hook this up right there and you're all set. To remove the battery, first you want to unplug it and then make sure you turn the key so that it is in the unlocked position. See how I pushed it in? Next, you're going to want to remove the seat and then firmly pull up on the battery. This is a very heavy battery. It's about 30 pounds. And this battery does come with an actively cooled 8 amp charger. Here's some info on the battery in case you guys are curious. I've been seeing more and more e-bike companies do this where they put their company website on the side of the frame. This bike also comes with these red springed suspension. You get 2 of them, 1 on each side. These are on the stiffer side, but they are better than nothing, and I think they are required, honestly, for a bike that's gonna have this much weight in the back. In the back, we have our usual 7-speed transmission. Looks like this is an MFTZ 507 freewheel. Wallke did include a derailleur guard for the Shimano Tourney derailleur. When the bike is in the smallest sprocket, this chain is very close to the actual frame right here. And when I was riding around, it did cause a lot of dirt buildup down here. I did wipe it down earlier, and I can feel that the paint is slightly nicked in this area. It's almost like the clear coat has some nicks in there. So I'd probably put some type of like a chain guard right here to make sure your frame paint doesn't get ruined. This bike has a medium-sized chainring up front with 2 chainring guards. Very nice. For whatever reason, it looks like we do get foldable pedals on a non-foldable bike. And in the box, you also get an owner's manual, an Allen key set, and some basic wrenches. And you also get this nice looking helmet, free in the box. And this free rear rack bag that looks like it's insulated, so you can put some cold drinks in there and they're gonna stay nice and cool. So you got some bungees up top. So getting on and off the Wallke H7, it's a step-through. It's gonna be easier than the non-step-through version. And this step-through height right here, this lowest portion, it's not the highest step-through I've ever seen, but it's also not the lowest. But you can easily bring your leg through the frame if you have some kind of disability, if you cannot swing your leg over the bike. And by the way, I'm 5'10". This is what I look like on this bike. This is a big bike. Look at this, the handlebars, they pretty much come up to the bottom of my chest. And here's what I look like on this bike at 5'10", 29-inch inseam, at the lowest seating position on this bike. As you can see, I can't extend my legs, but of course you can always raise the seat up if you need to. The suspension travel on this bike isn't a whole lot. It's not exactly the softest suspension ever, but it does make the ride feel a lot smoother. Not a whole lot on the front travel. Same thing, it's there, it does work. Not exactly premium suspension, but it's better than nothing. Here's what I look like on this bike if I were to raise the seat enough so that I could actually get extension at my knee. Let's take a look at the display settings. So when you turn the bike on, you get a nice looking Wallke logo. Looks like our odometer has 26 miles and you can cycle through max speed, average speed, time that you've been on the bike, and back to odometer. Holding down the I button is gonna switch your drive mode. So right now we're in front wheel drive, 2-wheel drive full power, 2-wheel drive eco mode. So this is the lower power so you can save a little bit more battery, rear wheel drive, and then you go back to front. Up top, you do have a battery bar, and I made it so it shows you the voltage of the battery, not just the percent, and you can do that in the advanced settings. Let's go ahead and take a look at that now. To get to the advanced settings, you hold down the plus and minus buttons. Let's check out the display settings. Looks like we can reset our trip. You can switch it from miles an hour to kilometers an hour. Wheel size, I found out of all the settings, 24 seemed to be the most accurate. You can mess between 22 and 24. But 24 seemed to be okay for me. Speed limit, the highest it goes is 62. When you try and increase it more, it goes all the way down to 7. So 62 is as fast as we're gonna get. And it did try the wheel size trick where you try and make the wheel smaller to make it go faster. It does not work on this bike. Voltage, obviously you wanna keep that at 48. And it looks like right here, you can adjust the battery bar. So When you get to a certain voltage, it'll show you a different amount on the battery bar. LCD brightness, SoC view, here's where you can switch it from voltage to just a percentage. Again, I like seeing the voltage of my battery, so we're gonna keep it at voltage. Let's go back, let's go into the advanced settings. Assist levels, so here you can change how many pedal assist levels you have. Whatever you do, always make it so that the first number is 0, and that's just for your own safety, so every time you turn on the bike, it's gonna be automatically set to 0. Assist number is how many magnets are in the pedal assist sensor. Don't touch this. Speed sensor is how many magnets are in each motor to tell the display how fast the bike is going. Don't touch this. If you want to reset the bike to default, go ahead and press yes. You can set up a password here. Motor mode, I did mess around with this. I didn't really notice any difference. I can still switch from front to rear to dual motor whenever I need to. And I thought this makes it so that if you set it to front or front and rear or rear, it makes it so that it starts up on a particular motor, but that didn't change also. So I don't know, you guys let me know in the comments, what does motor mode mean? All right guys, those are the specs and components of the Wallke H7, the dual motor version. Let's take it out on the road and see how it does. We're gonna do all the testing, the top speed testing, the hill climb testing, all the tests. Let's check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. Today we're going to be testing out the Wallke H7. We're going to start off with our performance test. Let's see how it does on our 0 to 20 test, our main hill climb test, the steep hill climb test, all the tests. And let's find out if the Wallke H7 dual motor is something worth buying. I checked the speedometer accuracy. It looks like we're okay. And we'll go ahead and start with the dual motor 0 to 20. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, we skipped the number 20 on the speedometer. It went from 19 to 21. So we're going to kind of estimate where 20 was. And let's go ahead and do the dual motor mode where the icon, it has 2 orange wheels, but they're both empty. So I don't know. Maybe that's like a lower power mode. Let's see what that is. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Kind of feels a little bit slower. 20. Yeah, that was definitely slower. Let's test the rear motor, 0 to 20. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. That almost felt like when I was in dual motors, lower power mode. I think it's like an eco mode. But, guys, we've got a 60 amp hour, 40 volt battery, and we're just going to keep it on full power the whole time. And something I want to point out is that the acceleration on this bike is interesting in that it starts you off slow, and then maybe a second or two later, it really ramps you up, and I think that's a fantastic feature because it saves you front tire, and it's also safer because the front tire doesn't lose traction. It's not as cool because you're not going to be doing burnouts with the front tire, but trust me guys, that does get old after a while, and most of the time, you just want your tires to actually be gripping the road. So check this out. We're going to accelerate, and I can feel it ramp up the power. Like right now, if I let go, there we go. I let go and I hold the throttle again. Now we get power. So I think that's how we get a little bit more tire traction. And so that's an interesting feature Wallke has implemented. And speaking of interesting, let's see how this dual motor bike compares to all of our other bikes that we've tested on our main hill climb test. This is a long hill climb. It's not too steep, but it is on the longer side. So we really get to truly test the performance of these bikes, not just in how it does speed-wise up a moderately steep hill, but also torque-wise, because obviously it's a hill. It does not take a lot of power to go fast on flat ground, but it does going uphill. Without further ado, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, we got the power, folks. Dual motor. Here we go. We're speeding up. We're killing it, guys. Dual motors. This is going to be no sweat. All right, hear those motors working. We're at 25 and crossing the line. All right, let's see what the free spinning speed is. We're going to switch it to single motor so the bike doesn't fly out from underneath me. Looks like we go up to 35 miles an hour. So my guess is that this bike is going to top out at 32 miles an hour top speed, maybe even 31. You guys leave your guesses in the comments below. And I did look in the advanced settings to see if we can get it to go faster, and unfortunately not. So it is what it is. But let's check out the downhill speed. As long as we're hitting that 34 mile an hour range, we're good. Ghost pedaling already at 30 miles an hour. I don't know if you guys saw my legs. Yeah, so going downhill, yeah. We'll hit the max motor RPM, but that's pretty much your top speed, even going down a slight hill. Any faster than that, it's just going to be gravity assisted. And in theory, if you find a steep enough hill, you can go about 120 miles an hour on any bicycle, even if it doesn't have a motor. Tell you what, going on this sidewalk right now feels very, very, very good for two reasons. Number one, this is a dual suspension e-bike. It's got two nice looking rear shocks in the back, and obviously the front fork is a suspension fork. And Wallke makes one of the most comfortable stock seats I've ever experienced ever from a stock e-bike. It's got this like nice gel material inside, and it just feels amazing. Wallke makes one of my favorite seats ever. I definitely would not replace the seat on this bike if I bought it. It is very nice. And I think it has springs inside too, so all of that adds to the cushy comfort of this bike. Let's see what this feels like. It's dropping off the curb. Oh yeah, that feels really nice. Feels like a Cadillac. Threading the needle. Handlebar test. Narrower handlebars. That is kind of nice, so if you need to do some lane splitting, more than likely if you're going to be buying a bike like this, maybe you're doing it for super long bike rides if you're into that kind of thing, or you're going to be doing something like delivering food, and if you need to be weaving in and out of traffic between cars that are stuck in traffic jams, or going between small spaces, this is probably going to be a good bike for you. All right, switching it over to dual motor. Moving on to our steep hill climb test. Stopping at the line. Here we go. Dual motor. 3, 2, 1, go. And this bike being dual motor, we already know it's going to crush this hill. Look at this. 12 miles an hour. Easy. 11 miles an hour. No sweat going up the hill, folks. Turn it around down. Now, going up that steep hill gives us a chance to go back down and test these insanely strong brakes. And they are very silent. Seems like a soft, quiet pad material. And they work amazing right now. Wow. Some very nice stopping power in these brakes. Let's stop from 20 miles an hour. Here we go. Ready? That's got to be like 10 feet somewhere on there. And that was actually faster than 20 miles an hour. All right. We're going to head on down to our top speed testing site now. Yeah, the acceleration on this bike is interesting. It starts you off soft, and then after a second, it really starts to pull. I do appreciate that. It's a great safety feature to have to make sure that front wheel maintains traction. Some of these bikes, you start to accelerate, and if you're going around any kind of turn, your front wheel just flies out from underneath you, and you're going down. And thankfully, I don't think it's going to happen with this bike, although anything is possible. Yeah, see this? Watch this. Throttle. And then we really get power. So I get power from the throttle. There's no delay. Power. More power. See that? That's pretty cool. Ready? Power. More power.
More power, baby.
Interesting. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to pedal up to speed and then see where this bike ends up. We got our GPS speedometer. Check out the top speed of the Wallke H7. Dual motor. Pedaling. All right. I hear the front motor making like jittering noises, but then I know once we level off in speed, it stops doing that. That does sound normal. See, now it sounds normal. All right, looks like our top speed going this way, 32 miles an hour. The motor's topping us off at 34, 35, right around where the free spinning wheel tops us off at. So it seems like there's a hard stop with this bike. There's a hard limit. However, on the way back, let's try the wheel size trick. So what you do is you simply make the wheel size in the computer and the display smaller than what it actually is. And sometimes that tricks the computer into giving us more speed. Let's do that now. Display setting, there we go. See where it says wheel? Let's bring that as low as we can bring it, which is 16 inches. All right, get it up to speed, tuck down. I feel a strong headwind. See how, oh yeah, see how we're at 31? Come on, baby. 32, yeah. I felt the motor cut me off, so internally, somehow it still knows that we're going about 32 miles an hour. So that's the top speed of the Wallke H7 dual motor, about 32 miles an hour. So the wheel size trick did not work. Let's bring the wheel size back to normal, where it was at 24. Moving on, we're gonna head over and do 2 off-road tests. The first one is on the side of the road. Hopefully the bushes aren't too grown in. And the second one is gonna be in the grassy field area, where we're gonna also test it up the big grassy hill. The last Wallke I tested there had the full-size wheels, and my guess is that the controller is the same on this one as it was on that one. So this one might have a little bit more torque because it has the smaller wheels. That'll give the motor a little bit more leverage. But first, let's do our mini off-road test right over here. And so the dual motors obviously are just gonna power through this grassy area. Even though it is a 48-volt system with 2 motors, this thing is just a bulldozer. Oh. Yeah, we're flying on this, no sweat. Oh, we got some bumps coming up. Oh my God. Yeah, they really need to cut this. Come on, guys. I gotta do my off-road test here. Killing me, Smalls. All right, more bumps. Dual motors is truly a game changer, folks. No joke. And we'll do the same thing back. Feel that power. This mirror is terrible. Although in its defense, I am flying this bike around off-road at 20 plus miles an hour, so it's on the bumpier side. We're gonna head over to the grassy field area next. It's interesting, as this bike speeds up, the front motor sounds like it's trying to sync up with the rear motor, but then once we top out at 32, it sounds normal. It's almost like there is a different amount of power in the front than in the back, and I think that's what Wallke does. I could be wrong, but it definitely sounds like it. Like it sounds like the motor is skipping. When you're going up a hill or when you're accelerating. But once you get to top speed, it does sound normal. It doesn't affect the function of the bike, but it doesn't sound all that great at the same time.
Bruh.
Of course, lady is staring me down, grilling me down as she stopped way in front of the line. That's fine. I'm used to the death stares. I think she's just jealous that I got the Wallke H7 and she doesn't. Dropping off the curb. Very comfortable. I do feel the rear suspension working well. Going down. What? Man, this is some pretty tall grass. Of course, dual motor. Powers through like it's nothing. All right, there's our hill. Let's just give it a rolling start. 20 miles an hour, can it make it? That was with a very fast rolling start. Never done that before with any other bike. Let's do it from a dead stop. Dead stop at the base of the hill. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, boom. Nope, can't do it. And then I gotta pedal this thing. Yeah, that is a very steep hill, ladies and gentlemen. But it's always good to try it, especially with these dual motor bikes. Off-roading this bike isn't the greatest feeling thing ever, but it does feel okay because it has the adjustable front fork and the rear suspension in the back, of course. 20 by 4-inch knobbies. And the mag wheels are on the more durable side, so you're not going to have to worry about breaking spokes. However, mag wheels are also on the heavier side. All right, sidewalk of doom. We're flying, folks. Huh. Oh, man. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm feeling this in my stomach. Oh. Oh, God. So the suspension, it's there to definitely try and smooth out the road feel. I got to check if my camera is on straight. Thank God this isn't a hardtail. And thank God this has the mag wheels, because this is a heavier bike and probably wouldn't feel all that great for the bike or you if this is a hardtail bike and it had spoked wheels. Let's check out the different pedal assist speeds with single motor, with dual motor eco mode. So starting off, pedal assist 1, dual motor, full power. Looks like we get to 18 miles an hour. Dual motor level 2, 22, about 20 miles an hour, somewhere on there. Dual motor. Yeah, I'm ghost pedaling this pretty much at 25. Dual motor level 3 gives us about 25 miles an hour. Level 4, I'm ghost pedaling, guys. I'm not putting in any power. Level 4, 30. And of course, level 5 is going to give you full power. All right, let's try eco mode. Level 1, 18 miles an hour. 22, level 2. Level 3, 23. It's still kind of accelerating. Level 4. All right, now we're ghost pedaling. Level 4, dual motor eco mode. About the same as dual motor full power, like 30 miles an hour. And of course, level 5 is going to give you whatever it thinks is full power. I think eco mode just gives you less current into both motors. You'll get the same top speed. It'll just take you longer to get there. Rear motor, pedal assist 1, we get same speeds, 16 miles an hour, 21. Yeah, all right, so all the speeds are pretty much the same. In some bikes that I've tested, the pedal assist speeds are different when you change between dual motors and rear motor or front motor, but this one is all the same, so that's good. So what I want to do now is test out eco mode power versus full power. So we're going to switch it to full power mode, see how long it takes us to go from here down to the sewer grate at the intersection. Throttle only. Pedal assist 5. Here we go. That's time. All right, so now let's try in dual motor eco mode. Here we go. See how we do. 3, 2, 1, go. And that's time. See how we didn't end up even going as fast? Because we were going slightly uphill. So we didn't have the current to hit the speeds that we needed to hit going up that slight hill. So using eco mode for this bike, I don't think you're ever going to need eco mode on this bike, because this bike has that giant 60 amp hour 48 volt battery in the back, which is a ton of watt hours. And so you'll get a ton of range on this bike. Let's talk about the contact points on this bike. So we already talked about the seats, although Wallke does make one of my favorite feeling seats ever. Make sure you mount it so that the mounting bracket is in the center of the 2 bars underneath the seat, so you don't bend the seat like I did. Can't believe that happened. First time. The handlebar grips are very, very basic. Normal, standard, rounded out grips. They're not ergonomic grips, which I would like to see on a bike like this. Something where I can just kind of rest my hands in the handlebar instead of having to hold on tight. The horn, good sounding horn. It's loud and annoying sounding, so it'll definitely get people's attention. And obviously that's what you want if you have a horn. Minimalist looking display, and in the settings you can switch it to show you voltage. Thank God Wallke gives you that option. I can't stand it when bikes just give you a battery bar. Nobody knows what that means. That could mean anything. But if you understand voltage and what certain voltages are in relation to your battery and what percentage it is, that I understand a lot more. Cornering this bike with the smaller 20 by 4 inch tires, of course it's going to feel great. Zero issues there. Pretty maneuverable e-bike. for its weight. The weight distribution is nice because that battery is underneath you. It doesn't feel like the front is very heavy. And it does keep the center of gravity lower as well. Tell you what though, even though this bike only tops out at like 32, it does get you there pretty quick thanks to those two motors. And we're flying up this hill, no sweat. The handlebar height is not too low, not too high. Sometimes handlebars are way up here in relation to the seat. Sometimes they're down here. This one was right in the middle. It's a happy medium, although if you are a taller rider, you are going to be putting a little bit more weight onto the handlebars. It's interesting riding this bike. I'll turn the corner and then I'll throttle. And then after a second or two, then it gives me full power, which once again is, in my opinion, a great safety feature to have. I do like how when I am sitting on this bike at the lowest seating position, I can easily reach my feet to the ground. So that makes it very comfortable for sitting at an intersection waiting for the rush hour traffic, because it's about 10 a.m. right now. Well, it's actually past rush hour now, but tried to get out here early. Nice. Look at that. Tried to get out here early to do this review because it's going to be a hot one. Not early enough. All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick nap, and then when this traffic is done, we'll keep going.
One eternity later.
Here we go. Good speed crossing over the intersection. That is important. Some of these super low power e-bikes, that's where things are dangerous when you don't have enough power. You're trying to cross an intersection, and it's so insanely sluggish that, well, you run the risk of getting hit by traffic. All right, we're going to go ahead and climb up our long and somewhat steep hill next. So thank God this bike has that big battery, because the gearing on this bike makes it so I cannot really help it out all that much. I'm pretty much ghost pedaling after 25. I can't help this bike even if I wanted to, unless we're going slow or up a steep hill and trying to go fast. But this is going to be throttle only. Just wanted to show you guys the power of dual motors. Look at this. Throttle only. 16 miles an hour up the steepest part. Look at that. Easy peasy. And once again, we can reach top speed pretty quick. We'll get to 30-something miles an hour. There it is. And we're at top speed. And now we're going to go down this whole hill. As long as this guy gets out of our way. We'll go as fast. You know what? Let's wait for him, because I want to see how this bike feels going 40, coasting down this hill. So I'm coasting right now. No power at all. Oh, man. So stable. Very, very smooth. Very stable. No wobble. Nothing. Brakes. Woo-wee. Those are some good brakes. Haha. And we're going back on the sidewalk of doom. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I'm going to feel this in my stomach later. Oh, God. Oh, man. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Wallke H7 dual motor e-bike. Who is this bike good for? If you want range, obviously this is the bike to get. There's only a handful of companies out there right now that are offering this tremendously sized battery. This battery is the size of 3 batteries that would typically be considered on the medium to larger side that some e-bikes come with. Some e-bikes come with 20 amp hour batteries. And even they say that's like a medium to sometimes large size battery. A couple years ago, that would have been a bigger battery. This thing gives you 3 of those. That's insane. Comfort-wise, this bike is great for those longer rides, which you're going to be doing on this bike. Once again, just make sure you get that seat mounted correctly. And it's not too bad. The seat itself is very, very comfortable. I'm telling you guys, it's one of the best seats ever. Handlebar grips, I wish they were ergonomic, but you can switch that out yourself, thankfully. Handlebar height is okay. It's on the medium side. If you're a taller rider, once again, you are going to be leaning forwards just a bit, but nothing too crazy. The look of this bike is very nice. I do really like how it looks, and the paint job of this specific bike is like a white pearl color. I know it also comes in black, but they said the only one they could send me was white, and I'm kind of happy that worked out because I really like this white color, that white pearl color. It does have a unique look to it for sure. The dual motor aspect of this bike will give you plenty of hill climbing power, and I really appreciate how the power ramps up from a standstill so you don't end up spinning your front tire, which both isn't good for the tire and it's not safe. Again, it's not the coolest thing ever. A lot of people like to see burnouts, but those get old real quick. The brakes on this bike are some of the best brakes I've ever tested. 203mm rotors, quad piston calipers, plenty of stopping power. They're quiet. The pad material is quiet. It feels like they're already bedded in straight out of the box. The display is fantastic, nice and simple, clean, easy to read. Once again, I very much do like that I can set it to see voltage, so I appreciate that Wallke did that. Suspension is pretty good. It's there. It does help smooth out the road feel. It's nothing to write home about, but it does work. For a dual motor bike, the power is on the moderate to lower side, and I believe the controller is a 40 amp controller, just like on the other Wallke bike that I tested. Sending those 40 amps through 2 motors versus 1 will give you a little bit more traction climbing up hills in low traction environments. So let's say you're on wet grass or maybe loose dirt, loose gravel, or mud. Having 2 wheels pull you up versus 1, better for traction, better for hill climbing. Let me know, guys, what do you think about this Wallke H7 dual motor? Is this a bike that you would buy? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you do want to check this bike out, it is listed in the description below. Using that link will help this channel at no extra cost to you and help me make videos like this in the future. What we're going to do now is keep riding this bike around. I'm going to keep filming, get some cool shots for you guys. We're at 17.5 miles on the display, 15.42 miles on my GPS. We'll get this thing to at least 20 miles, and I'll let you guys know what the voltage is.
And it looks like after riding about 26, 27 miles, our voltage is 50.2. Not bad.
Hey guys, I want you to stop what you're doing and smash the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you like content like this. If you don't like this video, tell me why in the comments. Tell me why you're mad. Tell me what your problem is. That's it for today, folks. Until next time.